For making the layers, we're going to need coconut flour, almond flour, butter, honey, erythritol, and yogurt. You could substitute the yogurt for 4 eggs if you want. We're now going to create a water bath, so we're going to have boiling hot water in the bottom pan, and then we're going to stack a pan on top of that in which we're going to melt our butter. So now that the butter is melted, we are going to be adding the erythritol. Then we're going to add the honey. Next, we're going to add the yogurt, or if you want, you can substitute this with eggs as mentioned previously. And now we are just going to mix it all together. So if you are using eggs instead of the yogurt, make sure that you are going to be blending it right away because of the heat and just so that the eggs don't cook. Now we're going to be adding the dry ingredients of the coconut flour, almond flour, and the baking powder, and we're going to stir it up. So this is basically our finished product. This is the consistency that you're trying to get, and this is our dough for the layers. So now we're going to take all the dough out from the pan, and we're just going to create a ball. This ball is probably going to yield around 8 layers, and we're going to cut it into 8 different parts. So now we're going to be rolling each of the layers. So you're going to put the layer on top of one piece of parchment paper, and here's a little trick. You're going to put a second piece of parchment paper on top. This way the layer will actually hold its shape and it's going to be easier to roll, and then you just roll it out. After you're done rolling and you take off the second piece of parchment paper, we're going to put the layer on a baking sheet, and we're going to put that in the oven for about 4 minutes at 375 degrees. So it has been about 4 minutes, and we can take out the layer. So as you can see, there's a little bit of browning on the left hand side, and that's okay because I made it a little bit thin. But basically when you see browning around the edges, that's when you know it's ready to be taken out. So here's our first layer, and what we're going to do, we're just going to make it a little bit more circular. So we're going to cut off the edges that are sticking out from the plate. For making the cream, we're going to need sour cream, heavy cream, cream cheese, and erythritol. In order for the cream cheese to mix a little bit better, we're going to take it and microwave it. Make sure to put a lid over it so that it doesn't splatter in your microwave, and we're going to warm it up for 45 seconds. We're first going to add the heavy cream, and we're going to whip it. Now we're going to add the sour cream, the melted cream cheese, and the erythritol, and blend it all together. Now we're going to take our layer, and we're just going to put cream on it. Now we're going to be putting a second layer on top. Here's our last layer. We're going to be layering it up with the cream, and we're going to be putting the excess crumbles on top of the cake in order to decorate it. In order to make the cake more circular, we're just going to cut off the edges of the cake. So that's it. That's just the whole cake recipe. So make sure to try it out. It's really healthy. It's basically like very low sugar. The only sugar is the erythritol, which is basically just sugar alcohols. So it's really good for anyone who's diabetic or who's trying to do anything low carb. So do give it a try and let me know how it goes.